Yeah,
So we do obviously online auctions, right? That's our biggest thing. So
that's historically been our biggest. Obviously, it isn't as much today.
right.
But we're talking to auction companies and other seasoned investors. We think that'll be back, call it spring of 22.
Right.
So, we're getting ready for that.
We're still doing deals. We're still doing deals, right? Like, let's give you an example. The Charleston, Tennessee one that we picked up for 132.5. You reached out to some realtors. We got some agents in there. And we sold it for 165. We just closed on it this past week, right? Yeah. So we got that one. We got one in lovely Kentucky coming up here, which could be either great owner finance or a wholesale or maybe another wholesale. We'll see. Yeah. So there's definitely deals out there. And I just won another one at auction in Kansas City. So we'll see if that one comes to fruition or if they put it back on there and decline my bid. But there's definitely deals out there. And I haven't been hammering on them as much over the past month because I've been preparing to move. Mike knows I've been doing so much with moving, so I kind of shut it down a little bit there on the acquisition side. But now
we traditionally with our model been able to do that in the summers. You're at the beach, you're coaching baseball. Like when you lived in the Northeast, now I can say that, right? It's we worked hard in those winter months where it's freezing cold out, nothing really else to do. Whereas the summer you enjoy it more with the virtual investor model, basically, because we don't have to have the phone ringing constantly. It's just stop bidding, no big deal. Like I don't have to find an acquisition person because of it or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I would have been if we were doing direct mail. That's actually a great point, right? If we were doing direct mail and I'm trying to move from Pennsylvania to Florida, I got all this. I think I would have been pulling my hair out, and I would have put so much more on you. That would have made it really difficult on you, and then it's like it would have been a whole big headache, right? Yeah. So this makes it so much simpler. All right, Mike, I'm just not going to bid on as much stuff. I'm going to try to hit the low lying fruit. We'll get what we can get. And then when I get back here, which I did this week, I've been bidding like crazy this week.
Yeah.
And there's deals. Look, there's deals. There's ones I'm bidding on. I'm like, this one looks like it could still be a deal. We could still turn and make money on this one. But I'm like, nah, let's get the good stuff. Let's get the lowest lying fruit, the stuff that we know we're going to be able to move on. So the auctions, guys, the auctions are still working, still deals out there. You're still going to be able to do that. It's not going to be an issue. And then, look on the MLS. There's other methods out there as well. If you want to get into some of those, like FSBOs and things.
Yes, yeah. Let's. So we pivoted. We still want to live that no marketing, no talking, the home seller model that we like. So what we pivoted in the last 18 months is really added to our toolbox of buying from wholesalers. So there's many ways to do it. You could market to them. You can reach out to them, build relationships, get added to their buyers list. And then I also post for them to contact me. Me and Paul create videos for them so they get to know us. We're legit and what's our criteria, because that's like questions everyone asks. I just send that video link out essentially. So we've been building relationships with wholesalers in several states in the US now, slowly at a time, and continue to do so. And they're bringing us deals, whether it's different parts of North Carolina, Florida, Pennsylvania, you name it. We've been gobbling up properties up and down the East Coast and Midwest from these wholesalers.
Totally. Oh, and breaking news for you here, Mike. You'll like this. Lucas, one of our buddies who's one of the wholesalers we're dealing with, looks like we have another deal in Ohio. So this is good news. This is really good news. And Ohio we love. It's one of our bread and butter states. And it looks like it could be a great wholesale for us here. So perfect. Just want to give you a little bit of good news, breaking news here on this podcast. Right? It's what I totally forgot to bring up earlier. Yeah, so that's good news. An example of working with wholesalers, and that's just one of them. We've got many deals from him. We've got deals from other people. And now what we're going to keep on doing is we're going to find more and more and more. And a lot of these guys are newer wholesalers, don't have a whole lot of experience. They certainly don't have funds to come down and buy these properties. So what we end up doing is joint venture with them. All right, they don't have the funds for it. They're spending all their money on marketing. Now we're joint venturing. We're funding it, or they're funding it, or we're doing a combination. And then we close it and we just split it. And it's a deal we don't have otherwise, right? And we're doing great on these properties. So yeah, I mean, it's just been a great acquisition method for it. I think we'll continue it moving forward too. Yeah.
And I want to add to that. What we've had success with are, call it these newer buyers. And that's why I call wholesalers. And this is why I call wholesalers essentially, just because to build that relationship, because we actually might get added to their short VIP list where we might get a phone call, email first before they blast it out to like every Facebook group and wherever else they sell their properties at. That way we get called first dibs on it. If it's something that doesn't pass our radar, they could then blast it out to their list. So that's another way to remind everyone this is a people business. So reach out, build relationships. As you deal with wholesalers, you're going to understand that 9 out of 10 aren't great. Let's be honest, right?
Yep.
they send junk information. Like I just looked at a deal today. It was listed as a FSBO at like 135. And the guy is presenting it to me at 140 plus like an 80K assignment fee. And
right.
I'm just like, I replied, thank you for this. However, this doesn't fit my criteria. If it didn't sell at 135 in this market for like 8 months, it was listed. There's no way it's a deal at 200, whatever you're offering me.
Right.
But you know what I mean? At least I'm trying to educate them and not just shooting them down like you're an idiot.
Right. Totally.
That way they come back more and more deals for us. It's a learning pain. You know, some of these guys might have just watched a few, free videos on what wholesaling is last night, and they're trying to get deals on their contract to be on with. But and then at the same time, I have had great phone calls over the last several months with wholesalers that are just rock stars, and they, we've bought properties from them and continue to buy properties from them.
Yeah, and always be a great source. But I mean, what we're seeing in large part, unlike before in the past with wholesalers, normally they would bring a deal and it was a deal for the most part, right? Now you're getting things, they're trying to get retail. They're trying to get retail pricing. Yeah. You can't get retail when you're selling to another investor. They've got to learn that. And like I said, there's a lot of new people though, so they don't know that. They think they can, and they can't take the property down, so they can't purchase and do it. So that puts them in a negative situation there. And they're just trying to push these things or see what they can get. But it will really come to fruition, because I think what we'll have down the road is we'll still do auctions, will probably still be our majority, but I think wholesalers are always going to be a big part of what we want to do, because we might hit particular markets that we really want to continue to stay in. And if these guys are real active in those markets, why don't we just keep buying and doing wholesales, fix and flips and things like that? If we have boots on the ground and people, we'll just keep on continuing that and growing those operations, because I think we're going to be growing operations here over the next year in the fix and flip side and wholesale, as we gain more private money. And we could teach you how to do that too, find more private money. We lend to our students on deals, right? So we are actually private money too. We borrow from students on deals, right? We have Steve, he lends. He's actually a big lender and lends to a lot of local investors up in Pennsylvania. And that's a big part of his business. He enjoys doing the private lending side. So we do have access to people. Plus, we have a bunch of other sources that we can connect you guys with too on that if we don't self-fund it. We deal review for you guys too. So that's a big bonus you'll get. That I think that for me and for Mike too, could tell you this, when you first get into business, if we could hand a deal to somebody and they could tell us whether it's a deal or not, we would gladly pay for that all day long. Like to me, that's the greatest thing I would ever pay for. The biggest thing, right? Because you don't know that at the beginning. You're not confident in yourself. Then when you do it for a little while, then you get to understand it. So if somebody gives Mike and I a deal separately, we both analyze it. We're going to be so damn close on our numbers. Guarantee it's going to be almost the same thing. Usually he sends a deal, I review it. Yep, you hit the nail on the head. It is with it. And we're same thing with me. And we're coming to the same numbers, but we comp the same way and we understand the markets. We've been doing this for a long time. So the experience definitely helps there. And then we'll hit another source. I mean, we don't use it too often, but the MLS, we still use it occasionally.
Yeah. Well,
Zillow, right?
So MLS, again, let's rewind a little bit. A few years ago, we were probably for every 30 offers we submitted on the MLS. Again, this is properties that meet our criteria. It's not just every property. Yeah. So I'll start with that. Like MLS is great, and we use them in different markets where we just get daily emails or as they come onto the market. But we don't get every property. We're smart about it, where you can set it at, I only want 3+ bedrooms or 3 to 5 bedrooms, or I want only days on market, 90+ days, or immediately on market, whatever it is. And then some MLSs are, you actually could select poor condition, total rehab needed. So it varies by area. Yeah. And you can search for keywords like REO, estate, fixer upper, etc. So it varies what MLS you use, and get these sent to your inbox each day. You review them. And in the past, again, outside of the seller's market that we're in right now, for every 30 offers, I think we bought a wholesale deal or a fix and flip deal basically from that model. And obviously today it's a different story. Everyone's shooting for the highest price in the world on the MLS, and sometimes they're getting them. And so it's not as lucrative as it was call it 2 years ago for us, but it is a model we still deploy and continue to monitor. It's just realize that most likely it's not going to be deal initially.
Right.
And then that kind of leads us into like Zillow's for sale by owners or some other thing that we've used. These are almost people just like agents on the MLS looking for top dollar. We monitor it. I'll pick out properties for my VA to look out, show run comps, and I'll quickly see like we're 100K off from where we need to be on this property. So obviously this person has asking for like an unrealistic number, but I'll monitor it and come back maybe like 60 days from now and they're still at this high number. I see they did a price decrease, maybe reach out to them. kind of explain our offer, like we need to be here and this is why, and see what they say basically.